La for hatred for none, for Islam stand for peace. La for hatred for none, all the time. La for hatred for none, for Islam stand for peace.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and welcome to Inspirational Africans, where we bring you interesting stories to inspire you, to encourage you to act positively towards the development of our society. I know you've heard of many genres under the sciences, but have you ever heard of spatial science? Let us meet who our guest for today is.
Wadood Momen, a native of Wa in the Upper West region of Ghana, was brought up principally by his mother, as his father, his mother's earthly comfort, had passed away. His mother, who was poor, had very little means for livelihood and found that they had not to crack affording the basic needs of her child. Parents, teachers, association dues, pocket money and uniform for school constituted a major hindrance in his way and nearly eked him out of basic school. Little as Wadood Momen was, he recognized the existence of God and the importance of making supplications to him. His prayers were rarely answered. At a tender age, between 7 and 15 years, Wadood Momen was engaged in catering services and other trades to raise money for educational and religious programs in relation to Ahmadiyya regional and national conferences in the country. At the same age, he started writing letters to his spiritual head, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih, requesting prayers for prosperity in religious affairs and excellence in education. The responses he received from his spiritual head inspired him. According to him, the responses he keeps receiving from his spiritual head has been his greatest source of inspiration. Lack of means and support cannot be an excuse for failure, but lack of spiritual inspiration could be. This wonderful assertion made by Wadood Momen shows how much spiritual attachment he had developed even at his tender age. With prayers and hard work, Wadood Momen, who had found himself in an environment that was totally discouraging and disadvantageous for survival and prosperity, got enrolled into Baka College of Education in Tamale in the northern part of Ghana in 2004 and finished in 2007 with diploma in basic education. He proceeded to the University of Ghana, Legon, and read for a degree in Geography and Resource Development. In 2012, he had a scholarship to do his PhD in Curtin University of Technology, Perth, Australia. Today, Wadood Momen is now Dr. Wadood Momen, who holds a PhD in Spatial Sciences.
Welcome to the studio, Dr. Wadood Momen.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to Inspirational Africans.
Thank you.
And Doc, so you are a spatial scientist. Can you briefly explain to us what that is?
Yeah, spatial science is all about space. Where we use satellite navigational systems to actually focus on the planet Earth and all that is in it. Yeah. So we use that to actually monitor resource development. We also use that in the security services. For instance, in the military, they use that to actually focus on neighbors areas as well as target points to actually devise means of actually reaching out to their targets remotely. And then when you come to agriculture as well, we use that to focus on plant development. We also use that to focus on to actually identify and analyze suitable agricultural areas. When I say suitable, in the field we have a lot of suitable developments, and but specifically I'm talking about agriculture, where we use remote sensing, specifically with satellite imagery, to focus on lands that can be cultivated, lands that cannot be cultivated, and then also to monitor plant development, plant growth, and also to actually support agriculturalists about livestock stocking and other things.
So it has various applications.
Yes.
Yes. Do we have a lot of spatial scientists in Ghana?
In Ghana, I don't have idea. I don't think we have enough special scientists.
Okay.
It's just a handful.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, we'll talk extensively about, you know, the essence of spatial science and probably how we can leverage on that to develop our nation and our continent. But what inspired you to pursue a PhD in spatial science, if I may ask?
Yes, because at the point when I was doing my bachelor's degree, I came to a point that I realized that there are this is a green area.
Okay.
It's a new field,
okay.
And for that matter, we do not have enough experts in the area in Ghana
okay.
and in Africa
okay.
in general.
Okay. What did you do your bachelor's in?
I did my bachelor's in geography and resource development majors.
Yes.
In the University of Ghana.
In the University of Ghana.
Yeah.
Okay. What about a master's or master's and PhD was combined?
One quite inspiring thing, and I think that is the salient focus of this sitting, is the fact that I proceeded from undergrad to do my PhD without having to go through masters.
How did that come about?
That is why it is inspiring.
Absolutely.
Yes, overseas, particularly in Canada, in the United States of America, in Australia, it is possible for an undergrad who has actually completed an honors with a very good class to do PhD. That is when they identify the potential in you at that stage. That is how come I was able to do my PhD without having to do masters.
So you finished University of Ghana with a BA in geography?
Yes, and resource development.
And what was so you applied to schools? What was the?
Yes, during my final semester, when I was going to the university during the first year, I made it a point that I was going to actually jump higher above that level. So I started working harder to come out with a very good class. And by first semester level 400, I'd already had a very good class. So second semester, then I started actually looking around for scholarships to go further. Actually, I limited myself to masters. And so whilst in my research for scholarship to do masters, I came to realize that I could even do a PhD somewhere with the class that I was going out with. So I started making applications, but actually I made applications for MPhil programs. And then my head of department and a few other lecturers that I had interactions with during my study gave their recommendations that I could be admitted to do MPhil in its university abroad. So I submitted my applications and they also submitted their recommendations. And that was my final semester in University of Ghana during the undergrad. And by the end of that semester, and by the time I got home, I already had the admission. By then I had submitted my applications, and by the time I got home somewhere in November, whilst I was very busy running around
What year was this?
2011. Whilst I was very busy running around looking for funds to actually bring the Jamaat of Northern Region to Bagi Ahmed, during that time, the admission letter came when I wasn't even expecting it anymore. So when I got it, I realized that they had offered me PhD because I had met the minimum requirement to do a PhD, and because I had also developed a proposal, a research proposal, and submitted in attachment to the application. And so they found that I wasn't there during the evaluation, but once the result was that I was admitted to do the PhD, that means they found that I had the potential to do the PhD.
So what university was this that gave you the admission?
Curtin University of Technology in Western Australia.
In Australia.
Yeah.
Okay. And and did they provide you full scholarship, or you had to supplement?
No, by the time my application was received, the scholarship opinion had closed.
Okay.
So you also knew a part of the application process is to identify a potential supervisor. So my potential supervisor had then advised me to look for any scholarship, any means of coming and honoring the admission. So then we would take it up from there. So I actually approached the Ghana Education Trust Fund, GET Fund, and laid my case before them, and they said, well, we are willing to consider it for 1 year. So they gave me 1 year scholarship, and then they said they were willing to support further because it was quite a good area to support. So they gave me the scholarship to go and start. And when I arrived there, my supervisor said, okay, then we could go in for a scholarship from the Commonwealth Scientific Industrial Organization in Australia. I applied for that, and they were very willing to offer the scholarship, but unfortunately I used my African impatience to actually stop it. When I say stop it, I didn't have to be making follow-ups because I was waiting for quite long, and I was run out of patience for that. Then they said I was trying to influence the process, so they stopped it. But
so you're trying to make follow-ups?
Yes.
You know, as like you do in Ghana, you will have to make follow-ups before you get a result. But yes, for them, right, it was a different cultural
That is
setup.
right.
Okay.
And I was still growing up in that culture. Okay. I didn't know that I didn't have to, after the application, I didn't have to make any follow-up, so that they would do it independently and grow confidence that they were admitting the right person to the scholarship scheme. Okay. So my supervisor then told me that I had already spoiled the chances. So they communicated to him that they were no more going to proceed with that because I tried to influence in the... Okay. Then again...
that would have been a very disappointing moment for you, right?
It wasn't, actually. It wasn't. Okay. It wasn't. Okay. Because I knew that, you know, before I left, the late Amir had prayed for me. Okay. His Naib, Molvi Yusuf Yassin, Alhaji Molvi Yusuf Yassin, had also prayed for me. Okay. By then, I had also written to Hazrat Khalifatul Masih, and he had also returned my request. Okay. And I knew very well that I was not going to be disappointed at any point in time. Though, yes, it was, you know, those are trial moments, and I cannot say disappointed. Allah didn't offer that to me. Okay. So I, with resilience, continued, and my supervisor also continued, my potential supervisor, because he had not yet then also been confirmed as my PhD supervisor. Until you are confirmed as a PhD candidate, everything of yours is potential. Okay. So, and I approached the director of School of Mines, where my department falls under, in the university, one Professor Stephen Hall. And he was a very nice person, very kind man. And then he then gave me an exposure. He registered me to go and deliver a talk in African Australian Research Forum. That's a very big conference, and followed by the Africa Down Under Conference, where you have all the mining giants in this world converge who have concessions in Africa to discuss about the potentials of mining and socioeconomic development of Africa. So I was there, I participated in that conference, and I gave a very good talk. I was in the program, I was in the table discussion, and I gave a very good talk, and I impressed a whole lot of funding agents that were there. Then I approached, one of them came up to me and said, okay, I liked your talk, and I really enjoyed your talk. Then I said, well, I would also want to enjoy your approach. I need a scholarship to proceed with my research, my PhD research. And the university scholarship scheme is yet to open. So then they said, okay, well, I should put in an application, and they were ready to support it. I prepared an application, gave out all the supporting documents, and lo and behold, they offered me the research scholarship. And then also, by then, the director of the School of Mines, Professor Hall, had also supported another funding. And then he asked me to apply, and I applied again, and it was approved. It was successful. All this while I had been writing to Huzur for praise.
So you're able to get all the scholarships that you needed to take you through how many years?
Yes, and 3.5 years on course, and then waiting period for another 6 months. Okay. No, less than 6 months, about 3 or 4 months. Okay. But all that was waiting period. Okay. So for the PhD was supposed to be 4 years. Okay. But I completed in 3.5 years, less than 4 years. Okay. And then it is by the grace of Allah, with the strong prayers of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Khamis. Every month I write to him. So during my study, even before I did the application, I had been writing to him.
So, I mean, the leader of the worldwide Ahmadiyya Muslim mission.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Just for our viewers who are not aware.
All right, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So I had been writing to him, and each time he returns my request, my prayers request, with a lot of prayers.
That's fine. So this gives us a good opportunity to talk about your expertise now. So you focused your studies on mining.
Yes.
And you know that there's now a huge debate in the country about mining, and especially the role of illegal mining, you know, in the destruction of our environment.
Yes.
From an expert point of view, what would you have to say about whether mining is really a sustainable, you know, economic venture for countries, or we should think of weaning ourselves off mining eventually because of probably its effects on the environment?
It's interesting when I hear people say that let's stop mining and focus on what? And then they say agriculture. The very implements we use to till the land are products of mining. We gone at this when we didn't have the modern day mining, but there was mining. Mining started right from the beginning of life. Gathering and whatever they call it. Then they would identify that they have to gather stones. Crack these stones to create fire. Crack these stones to develop metal. And that could help them to till the land. That is all that is mining. So mining, we can't do away with mining. We sit in this room with all these gadgets around us. They are products of mining. They are made of glass. They are made of metal, and all these are made from minerals that are mined. So if we stop mining, what then do we do? What becomes of life then?
Maybe the emphasis is on probably the gold.
Yes, what people should rather focus their attention on is the negative effects of mining on social life. It has very positive effects, but the negative effects are really very bad, outweigh its positive effects when it is not properly managed. We have had similar situations that we have here in United States of America, in Canada, in Australia, who in Indonesia, who are the biggest mining host countries in the world. We also have some in Peru, and we also have some in Chile. That's South America. All these are bigger mining countries you can never think about. Also in South Africa. They have all experienced illegal mining before. But come to the fact that mining is important, and also the application of my expertise, that is space science technology, the spatial science technology in mining. Mining has contributed so much to the economic growth of USA, Canada, and Australia. And actually, the spatial science technology developed out of the Canadian interest in harnessing a very good natural capital accounting system, where they needed to know the actual natural resources they have and how do they manage that.
The argument is that as Africans or Ghanaians who haven't probably benefited as much as probably these host nations that you are referring to have benefited from mining, and that we're extracting a lot of these things, we are causing harm to our environment, but yet again we're not also getting enough money to probably solve some of our present problems.
Yes, I was coming to that, but it's basically geopolitical issue and also moral issue that is actually killing Africans. Not only Africans, developing countries in general. And that includes Southeast Asian countries, that includes South American countries. All developed countries, resource-rich developing countries have these problems because of corruption. Corruption is actually the basic thing that is preventing us from enjoying the benefits of mining mineral resources.
How does corruption in this, relate directly to our situation?
Yes, you cannot say that we do not have people who really think properly and who are well endowed with knowledge to manage our resources, but they are corrupt. They do not want to do anything that would actually inure to the benefit of the generality of the populace, but to themselves. So they actually come out with policies. And if you allow me to say, as Karl Marx will refer to them as the bourgeoisie, and they are also the subtrees. They make policies and decisions that will benefit them, and they come out to tell the general people, the citizenry, that these policies will benefit you, and it ends up actually harming the citizenry. That is what is killing, and that's where I was driving to when I said the Canadian people developed that system. And so that gave them a very good accounting system of the natural resources, and the citizens took charge of their natural resources, and they properly managed them, and they managed them up to date. And that was by the aid of, that's where the special science technology started developing from Canada. And the United States took over the technology and developed it and enhanced upon it. Now that is what Russia is using, that is what even China now is growing very well in the resource sector. They use special technology.
How do you think that we in developing countries can do mining, efficiently in such a way that we can benefit from it maximally and without probably destroying our environment?
Yeah, so I will touch a little bit on the Galamsey issue before I come back to that. So when this Galamsey issue started, and we have mining is in three phases. We have the large scale mining, we have the small scale mining. That's two phases actually. And under the small scale mining, we have the legal small scale mining, and the illegal one in Africa, in Ghana, that's what we call the Galamsey. So it is a Galamsey that is not well monitored. It's sporadic, and the activity is a free exit and free entry. Everybody enters and goes out, and which is not well structured. But the large scale mining and the legal small scale mining, these are well structured. But unfortunately, the monitoring system is not really well coordinated in our country, and that is why we actually feel the harm more than the good of it. So I always suggest that the Galamsey system actually focuses on gold mining in Ghana, but we also have other mineral resources that we could actually rechannel their focus on, which is low value minerals and mining. That and metals, sorry, not mining, that we could refocus these Galamsey people attention to, because it's one of the viable areas that they can mine without actually causing harm, like sand winning. We have a lot of quarries around. Also, I tell you, whilst my stay in Australia, I was trying to bring some companies down to Ghana to look at and analyze the prospects of sand that we have, because glasses are made from sand, the minerals we have in sand, and we have a lot of sand around, but we actually don't know the importance. We only use that for building, but there are other uses of sand. So if we try to expand this sub-industry and bring the people out of gold mining, our water bodies and farmlands will be safer. Otherwise, we have people in the countryside who actually dig sand, gravel, and stones to earn their daily livelihood. But we don't talk about them. They also do a lot of harm to the environment. So if we could coordinate this very well, we still have mining going on, but we encounter less of the environmental impacts. So
you think that we should look at how to coordinate and regulate those sectors very well?
Yes.
In such a way as to regularize them?
Yes.
So that we know what they are doing, and we can control them, essentially.
Yes, that's right.
And bringing our interview to its last minute, so how do you personally hope to contribute with your expertise to probably the overall development of our country?
Yeah, first of all, I try to bridge the gap between mining and agriculture with the use of the geospatial technology. That mining and agriculture need to coexist in our country. People think they cannot coexist. And these are the two broad sectors that we really have local people participating in. And we also talk about the value chain enhancement between mining and agriculture. And these have a great prospect for the economic liberation of the local people. I don't mean the national people. Yes, the people living in the local communities. Once we have a very good and well-developed mining sector, and at the same time we have a very good and well-developed agricultural sector, and these two industries can coexist, depend on each other, and develop our nation for us. Yes. So by way of that, I intend to work with the ministries of lands and natural resources and then agriculture, and then also I work with the Ministry of Science, Environment, Science and Technology and Innovation, and then also because basically my field is technology, and then also to work with the universities. I have exposure to a lot of NGOs, non-governmental organizations, and interest groups that are willing to come down to Ghana and to meet local people to develop these areas, as I mentioned to you about the low-value minerals and metals sub-industry. Yeah, so that is my intention.
So where do you see yourself in the next 10, 15 years to come?
I aspire to become, in the academia, I aspire to become a professor, a full-fledged professor within the next 3 years. I should be able to do that because I already have one step across the bridge, and so it's about lifting the other one. So it's not about 10 years, inshallah. Within the next 3 to 5 years, I should be able to make that because I have, in the academia, you make your capacity to produce publications count your status. And alhamdulillah, I have had that. I have written a lot extensively to Huzur for prayers in that direction, and I have been very successful in that direction. Alhamdulillah, I have developed the skill so faster to write journal papers for publications, and my papers are quickly accepted for publication. And that is by the grace of Allah and through the blessed prayers of our worldwide leader, our Supreme Imam, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Hamis, Ayadullah ibn Nasrul Aziz. Yes, so that's it.
From the child who dreamt of becoming a pilot and kept holding on to that dream all the way to the university level, diverting to social sciences, you might not be sitting behind a cockpit, but you are sitting behind several levers that you can help to pull to make to fly our environment to safety and prosperity. Thank you very much, Dr. Wadood Momen, for joining us here on Inspirational Africans.
Assalamu alaikum
wa rahmatullah. Well, viewers, it has been another very, I would say, educative and insightful edition of Inspirational Africans. Join us on our other episodes. Assalamu alaikum.